It was the first time my political aspirations, internal, or I'll say, or in some cases, younger these days.
Okay, all right. So now, would you say that that was, say, the beginning of your political career?
No, it was the first time my political aspirations, internal, or I'll say, came in contact with an interface, and that was a university. I'd always been upset with the system since I was 10 years old. So probably I've read some stories about how my village was invaded when I was 10 years old, on a Christmas Eve. And the police ransacked the village, raped girls.
In Ondo State.
In Ondo State. And I made a decision as, immediately the issue was over that if I have a chance in life, I will fight for justice. And, particularly what I saw then to be official impunity.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. If you're just joining us, it's your interactive station 91.1 Lion FM. And of course, like we introduced a while ago, we have a great media personality here. He's also a great politician. And we're talking about a young politician with a radical difference. And we have Mr. Omoyele Sowore himself, the presidential candidate of the AAC in the just concluded presidential elections that took place some months ago. He's here with us in the studio of 91.1 Lion FM. I am John Obuena. Right, so before we get to why exactly he came to visit the University of Nigeria, we still have a few personal questions for him. You've been in the media for a long time.
About 12, 13 years.
12, 13 years.
Yes.
And most times we've seen your work has been hugely critical of the system.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden we saw you decide to come and run for the presidency.
That's right.
Now, what kind of change did you imagine that you could bring? Did you imagine that maybe you could actually come and shake up what is already going on? Did you see yourself as being able to do that?
Well, I went into the media for the same reason. I wanted to shake off the complacency of the media, the compromises that I see with the big mainstream media outlets that will cover up stories, write up press releases, turn themselves into engineering experts or professionals inspecting roads instead of telling us the quality of roads. I hated that. And when I did our report, I think I achieved that objective. But there's a point you get to, even as a media practitioner, that that media by itself cannot change society. And I decided at that point that for this society to change fundamentally, you need to insert people in the system at the very top who can make those changes immediately. And that was what made me go into politics. I didn't win the election because there was no election. I went to contest the election, but unfortunately they didn't hold an election. And I never shy from saying this. But I think we did fundamentally change the way people were thinking about election, the role of money, the role of ideas. And we also shook the system. There's no way you get to, people don't say, wow, some guys came. They spoke differently. They proposed and propounded ideas that were very, very deep and challenging to the status quo.
But when you were going into politics, didn't people advise you that maybe why don't you attach yourself to a known party or a known politician so that you can rise through the ranks? Or why did you go straight for the top job in the country?
My conviction is that you cannot continue to allow people who are incompetent and mediocre to be at the top while you advise sound, intelligent, intellectual, and vibrant individuals to go to embed with the same people who destroyed the country. So I wasn't, I didn't have that kind of respect for any politician or political parties that existed before we came on, as to want to embed myself with them. If I wanted to embed, I wouldn't have done what I've been doing all these years.
Okay, just a second. Hello, good evening. Who are we speaking with? Nice to speak with you, Sam. So, yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Morning. Happy good evening. Welcome to UNN.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, initially when I hearing just like personally, I was just categorizing one of the teaching because introduced until another change, and then started showing us the positive inspirations as young people that we're not just coming out to we're actually coming out to try to be wrong. We started and was one of your there's something I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anyone has asked this question before, and I think we have to go back to this. That is not in the response. Now, what do you say, or what do you say about that election that you contested? Was it real? Like, presently, it is because now I understand. You said that election is fulfilling your expectations.
No, I have said that the election was a sham. I have been quoted as describing it as an aggression against the Nigerian people. There was no election. There was no election.
Okay, thank you very much. And that you are here in the Lion. I hope when you leave this place, because you in the Lion, and that when you leave this place, become stronger. And as it stands now, you don't know that the line of your followers have really grown up. And as I yesterday when I was watching an interview with people, and then you were already having more contact to follow you.
Absolutely.
But then it was that same yesterday that I got to know that you were actually from what you just like you said now.
Yes.
Some people will be thinking that you were
Yeah, look, my brother, I've always been. Thank you so much. I've been standing alone for a long time. I've been standing alone when it's impossible to stand alone. So, when people say throw words around that somebody is Tinubu's boy, it's very insulting. For someone like me who's been doing activism for 30 years, about the same time Tinubu started, the fact that somebody is a good thief and he stole a lot and enough doesn't make them masters to every independent idea. So we just say, Father, forgive those who have carried that particular rumor for so long. There was no basis for it.
Okay, thank you so much, Assam. Remember, you can always reach us on 0815-186-0899. That's the number you can reach us on right here on your interactive radio station. And if you're wondering who we have here in the studio, we have Mr. Omoyele Sowore, a human rights activist, pro-democracy campaigner, founder of Sahara Reporters, and also a presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the elections that took place. Well, you said there was an election.
No, it's not an election.
Okay.
The election that purportedly took place.
Yes. Okay, so we want to go into the area of we saw what's been happening politically. A lot of our youths. There was a time the bill was being, they're not too young to run bills being upheld and all that. But we look at our youths, and we've had a situation where the elders have come up to say that the youths are not ready to leave the country, and they backed it up with some points, which, if you look at it from that point of view, they might have some facts in that aspect. But what is your take on that? Do you think maybe there's time for a change of guard from a generation to the next?
This is my response. There is no vehicle of power that was ever made that has a reverse gear until it meets superior power. Young people need to prove that they're ready. And when they prove that they're ready, everything that the elders have been saying will be consigned to the dustbin of history. They're saying it because we haven't shown clearly to them that we're ready. But we don't need to show to them. When we are ready, we just step up and take power. And it will be very clear to them. There won't even be a change of guard. Because when you have a change of guard, when revolutionary youth take power, that means the people who are handing over power are still handing over power to people with whom they have some measure of agreement as to the future. It is very clear that our generation have nothing in common with the old guards. So we're not trying to change guards. We're trying to discard and abandon them as quickly as possible so that this country can move forward, or the humanity in it can make progress. Because we're not making progress. And it seems like, based on my own assessment, this is the only country in the last 20 years in this category that hasn't made progress. There are a group of countries that are known as pain. Nigeria is one of them. But of even all the countries in the pain, pocket, Nigeria is the only one that is not making progress. Countries like Pakistan, right, they're making progress. Better progress than we are. So, but Nigeria is not making any progress that is discernible, or any kind of progress that you can interrogate and report to anybody. The only progress we're making in Nigeria is in the reverse direction.
Okay, let me take you to the pressing issue of security now. I think that is I think that's the most pressing issue in the country right now. The issue of security, or lack of it, has led to different calls from different sections for this group to come, this group to move away, national discussion, confab, so many things. But the bottom line is, right now, before it was recession, but right now it seems it's security or lack of security. But what's your take on the unfolding developments so far?
We're in a state of circumlocution in every political circle. They design and put in front of you things to keep you busy. So when they're not talking about recession and security, is what we must all agree is that what is known as government in Nigeria has failed. And without addressing the failure of government, it's just like you have cancer and you're curing, heat rash. At the end of the day, the cancer is going to kill you, even though your skin might look nice after you cure the heat rash. And Nigeria has a fundamental problem, and it's the reason I said clearly after the election that even elections by themselves cannot solve Nigeria's problem anymore. They've figured out how to compromise elections. Mm-hmm. And as someone who's covered elections over the last maybe 3 election cycles now, you see how they have graduated from one level to the other to compromise election. Before, they used to steal ballot boxes on election day. They don't do that anymore. Now they've moved election to collation centers. So if you are wasting your time in election day voting at a polling unit, when the results come out, you discover that it's the difference between who you voted for and where you voted, and the outcome of the numbers which had already been written ever before the date of the election. So for us to get to that junction where we'll take ourselves seriously, or they'll take us seriously, people have to be thinking revolution.
But now you're looking at this as, is it only a problem of they? What of the issue of us? Because there is a saying that people get the kind of leaders they deserve.
Absolutely.
And I was arguing with a friend of mine at one point, and he said, okay, yes, the government is actually not meeting up to expectations, but this is a reflection of the society. If you turn the whole society around in the pot and you pick up some people and put them there, you might get the same result. So now, is the responsibility going to be only at the feet of the leaders? What of the followers?
I completely agree with your position that it's about us. So when we're tired of this nonsense, we will end it. We'll just step up one day and say enough is enough. Everybody will rise up in their own corner and resist whatever force or forces are out there, and they'll put an end to it. We'll have a next day that is different, that is refreshing, that is liberating. That is the truth. So I agree completely with people who said it's us. We are the ones that have this limitless capacity to take trash, So and they keep dumping it on us. We're like the biggest trash can in the world. Everybody in government would, drop their own, security, financial crimes, lies, propaganda. There's nothing they don't dump on us. So when we say enough is enough, then we would definitely become a different country. We'll become different persons, people, and we will have a completely different environment.
Okay, so it's great to have you here, Mr. Omoyele Sowore. If you've heard of Sahara Reporters, he's here right here in the flesh. Now you're going to be delivering a talk. You're a special guest of honor for the Faculty of Arts and Students Association tomorrow. So you're going to be speaking to them now. Are you going to be speaking to them as a former student and a Lutherized comrade, or as a media mogul, or as a politician? And what are you going to tell them?
I'm one package. My life as an activist, a radical militant person.
Okay. Just pause. Okay. 5 minutes, we'll be back.
Okay.
Maximum. It's the system we're talking about.
Exactly. Work against oppression in the country. We used to be the ones who fought and fought. Student leaders, including the one here at Msukas, they're my best friends. I think Innocent Chukuma. And Chimobani.
Late.
Yes, late Chimobani. This comes from Lions, but unfortunately today, if you see lions these days, they're like stuffed animals. Not the type we used to have, and I think you can't blame them. They did a lot to destroy that cohesion and the organic nature of how students used to organize and operate in those days. They've introduced money politics. They diluted them. Starvation and have student unions that are responsive, and very, very vibrant, militant. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'd like to talk about that tomorrow and talk about other issues affecting us. So, if you're in town tomorrow, please do come by and hear us out. And also, we'll try and make it as interactive as possible. But don't let me stop without saying great thanks to the leaders that brought me here. This is my first time here on the soil at UNN. Particularly Favor, who is sitting behind me in the studio, made sure that I made it here. She's been talking to me to come here before the election.
Whoa.
And after the election, she never stopped. And also, there's a fellow right in front of me here who is filming right now, Philip, who was one of the guys who traveled around the country with us. We did everything during the election to spread the message. We went to about 34 states. Some of them we went twice. We drove to the north, drove down here in the east, southwest, south. We went everywhere. We did everything required of us, including things that weren't even required of us as presidential candidates, contesting that election. We contested with ideas. We contested with stamina, energy. intellect. We contested everything that was wrong with Nigeria. We exposed it. We fought it. This time, not through an election, but
for all the students in the University of Nigeria, especially those aspiring to elected positions, I think I would strongly advise that you attend the symposium tomorrow. We have someone who was at his time, well, we've not checked, but he was the youngest student union government leader in the University of Lagos, and he didn't just lead. He didn't just stay there, enjoy himself, live affluently and all that. His record is actually there. I've gone through it, and I think at the point in time it hampered your studies.
Yeah, I spent and I shouldn't be recommending this to
No.
people. You know how they say, don't try this at home.
Of course.
I spent 6 years instead of 4 years.
Of course.
At the University of Lagos, but it was worth it at the end of it. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have been what I am today if I didn't go through that crucible.
And I remember back in the days. Here in the University of Nigeria, you're already a good student union government leader if you're able to graduate when you should.
Oh yes, yes.
There's something is off.
Oh, absolutely. They became professional students.
We're not recommending that you go and get carried over those stuff like that. No, we're not.
No. Let's be very clear about this. We weren't failing exams.
Definitely.
No.
Yeah.
They just won't let us graduate.
Of course.
Yes, it wasn't. We were some of the brightest among the students. We will go protest, come back the next day and write exam. We'll go to prison. They release us. We'll go and write exam. We still do better than students who didn't protest.
Correct.
So there's nothing wrong with it teaches you how to multitask if you do serious student unionism.
I think at that point you don't really come out for student union government president if you know your IQ is not up to it.
No. If you don't have the IQ, if you don't have the energy, if you don't have the integrity and the reputation for it, it's just like in our days. If you are running for student union elected position, you will have to compulsorily attend debates. Not the type of debates they even did in the presidential election that some people ran there. Well, you can't avoid the debate. That you can win or not, and then you must have protest. What have you done before? Have you ever been arrested before?
Okay, all right, sir. We're going to be contesting for something, of course, very soon. We'll have manifesto what you plan to do, but just know that it's not a tea party. If you want to change the country, you start from where you are.
That's right.
You're not going there to go and enjoy flex. That's a wrong perspective. So if you
you go ahead, you're giving awards to people. You start making plans.
Making money.
Some of them criminals. Yeah.
So if you plan to do that when you win, then you shouldn't criticize anybody in government or in leadership position who is doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
You're just a miniature.
Yes.
All right. So this is where we'll wrap it up. It's been a very wonderful time. We hope to have you here again and again. There are a lot of things to throw on in an unbiased manner.
Yes.
Without patronizing anyone. So we hope to have you here over and over again. It's a pleasure to
thank you for bringing me. And I have to say that it's unusual to have a radio station that's based on campus, free flowing ideas in Nigeria of today, where point when it took light, I thought maybe. I thought maybe that was deliberate.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely.
yeah, but that was the only time I had a little bit. But in terms of the exchange, you're top notch, man, and I hope you keep it up.
We will.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure too.
Thank you.
Okay, so remember, if you want to have more of him, remember you have to be at Faculty of Arts Symposium tomorrow. It's starting by 8 o'clock. I think I need to some of your faculty members who's going to speak. Okay, let's meet you. What's your name?
My name is Comrade Oba Isni Blessing.
Oh, nice. The comrade has entered. I think it's
Now we're
enough.
talking.
Oh, nice. Okay, so tell us a bit more. The time,
Okay, just before that, I'm the secretary. The symposium is more of a public lecture. Okay. It's starting by 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Faculty Hall, the Faculty of Arts Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are from the faculty, and I'll to be a great event. We're going to of great men, and it's going to be more educative than before. I think Faculty of Arts is the only faculty that has pulled great personality into the university as of history, our past public lecture, all of it, and tomorrow is going to be one of the greatest. We actually going to Mr. Omoyele and going to him, and is going to educate us in our lives and even outside the school.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to be there. All right, so still here on Interactive Radio Station.
Nigeria, they use computer. The leaders of Nigeria, they use radio where they turn the knob.